million worth of damage. The Church of St Michael the Archangel burnt down 2 years ago. Now, some people want a replica of the old building. Others say it's the ideal opportunity to update the design. A church court today heard arguments from both sides, and it'll make an announcement on what's to happen in a month. That's it. Back to you, Alison.
St Michael's in Newquay suffered £3 million worth of damage when it caught fire in 1993. Now a court case is deciding how to restore it. Shaminda Nahal reports.
One of Newquay's finest buildings consumed by fire almost 2 years ago. St Michael's Church, often described as a mini cathedral, had its interior ripped right out. The roof caved in, causing severe structural damage. Now the inside of the church is thick with metal, rows of scaffolding supporting the ceiling. Plans for rebuilding have been drawn up, but whether they can go ahead is being decided in a church court. The church council wants to modernise the interior to broaden the church's appeal.
When sadly you have a fire such as we've had here at Newquay, it gives the parish an opportunity, the church an opportunity to perhaps modernise the building or rearrange the furniture inside to meet the needs of today's world rather than as it was at the turn of the century.
But most members of the congregation aren't interested. They want the church rebuilt exactly as it was before.
I feel that it was such a beautiful building. I don't feel that all this is necessary.
There's no need whatsoever for that church to be altered. Everybody said it was a beautiful church before the fire. If we didn't have the fire, God forbid, it would be the same.
The Chancellor of the Diocese will listen to both sides of the argument and reach a decision on the plans in the next few weeks. But the conflict between the old and the new is sure to rumble on for years.
An Exeter man who's 63 was seriously hurt. People were taken to hospital from the Ambergate Hotel in Charleston. Guy Pannell reports.
The fire broke out just before 5 o'clock this morning and soon took hold on the ground floor and basement. Fire crews rescued 2 guests who were trapped upstairs and another 2 people from the ground floor. But a woman in her 30s was found dead in the basement. She's not yet been named. 7 people were taken to Torbay Hospital, including a child who's seriously ill. It took fire crews an hour and a half to bring the flames under control. Investigators from the Devon Fire Service are trying to establish the cause of the outbreak, but police say it's not thought to be suspicious. Guy Pannell for Westcountry.
And police are investigating a death at a race.
The woman, who's a single mother in her early 30s,
at the Cornwall Coliseum at Carlisle Bay near St Austell.
Almost £3 million worth of damage. But arguments started when it came to designing the interior of the new church. Some people wanted a modern, open style, while others said the traditional layout should be retained. The church councils favoured the second option, and new furniture is now being ordered. The Cornish school
Yeah. 2 years ago, causing more than £2 million worth of damage. The appeal's designed to raise an extra £150,000 to bring the church up to modern standards. Building work has already started and should be complete before the end of next year. And the £60 million scheme to stop Michael's was destroyed in the fire, which caused more than £2 million worth of damage. The church officials coordinating its restoration have had their work cut out, finding the right materials for the job.
The interior stonework was of stone from Poliphant Quarry near Launceston, and that quarry had closed, and we had difficulty getting permission from the owners to reopen the quarry and extract the stone.
Collecting the £150,000 needed is expected to take many months, but it's hoped the building work will all be completed by the end of next year. Plans have been unveiled to 2 years ago, causing more than £2 million worth of damage. The appeal's designed to raise an extra £150,000 to bring the church up to modern standards. Building work has already started and should be complete before the end of next year. Plans have been unveiled today to turn a former telecommunications college at £4 million damage was caused by an arson attack at St Michael's. Architects, builders and other craftsmen are carefully restoring the church to its former glory, and now the fruits of their labours can be seen.
Coming into the new church now in its new form is a spiritually uplifting experience, certainly for me. The works which have been carried out and the skills which have been used to achieve it are remarkable and are a credit to the men who've been employed on the works.
The Bishop of Truro will rededicate the church in a special service on September.
This sort of damage to churches across the southwest has become all too familiar. There were a series of attacks on churches in Devon 2 years ago. In Cornwall, St Petrock's casket, valued at over £1 million, was stolen from its case. Across the country, 13 churches are targeted every day. St Michael's Church in Newquay is kept firmly locked for most of the day. Inside, the building has a complex alarm system with intruder detectors and a sophisticated fire alarm. 5 years ago, St Michael's was almost completely destroyed by fire. 11 appliances were used to fight the blaze, which is thought to have been an arson attack. No one has ever been charged. The rebuilding of the church cost almost £2 million. An appeal for £150,000 has just reached its target. The rest came from the church's insurers. Today's conference on church security is being organised by the Ecclesiastical Insurance Group, which is effectively the church's insurance company. They say 1 in 3 churches in Britain are attacked every year. The subsequent insurance claims cost £4 million per annum. At the conference, they're trying to promote increased use of church buildings by local groups such as playgroups and nurseries. They say a busy church is a safer church. Many southwest churches have a church watch scheme. The conference called for the idea to be adopted nationwide.
We encourage people to be in and out of church, not necessarily sitting there, although in the summer we try to get that, a couple of people there all the time. But we get people to in and out with the shopkeepers opposite and people like that. If they see a strange van parking outside, they'll just take the number.
There's nothing more traumatic in a parish than to see their parish church burned to the ground, and so it pays to put in place certain measures to make sure that that doesn't happen as far as possible.
Church leaders in the southwest say they're keen to promote any ideas which will help protect buildings which are so important to local communities.
The Maritime and Coast Guard Agency